So we've all done it. We've all had a good play around with some of the online calculators. Mortgage calculators, life insurance and protection calculators, they're everywhere. The internet's full of them. You just punch in a few details, you hit submit, and you get a nice shiny big number that tells you how much you can borrow, what your monthly repayments will be, or how much your life insurance is going to cost you. Amazing, right? So here's the truth. They're essentially just a fantasy machine, and if you rely on them for your information, you're setting yourself up for a big fall. So let's break this down. When you go online, you use an online mortgage calculator. So you key in a few details, maybe your salary, deposit, how much the house is that you're looking at, real basic information. And the calculator has one job to do, and that's give you a simple number really, really quickly. But here's what it doesn't do. It doesn't check your credit history. It doesn't ask about existing debts, loans, student finance. It doesn't factor in childcare, maintenance costs, other commitments that you've got. It doesn't consider your age, your employment type, how long you've been self-employed. And it certainly doesn't check against the real-time lending criteria of 90 plus banks and building societies, which is literally changing in real time. So the calculator says, congratulations, you can borrow 300 grand. But in reality, once everything's factored in, you might only be able to borrow 220. So the same goes for insurance calculators. You key in a few details, it spits out a number, says your life insurance is going to be £15 a month. But what about your health? What about medication? Family history? Do you smoke? Whereabouts in the country do you live? All of these things can take an effect, and none of them gets factored in. So that £15 quote is just a work of fiction. And the big problem is that people actually trust these numbers. They start looking on Zoopla at houses they can't afford. They're planning their family security based on a £15 life insurance policy that they're never going to get. And when it all comes crashing down and the lender declines or the insurer loads the premium, the disappointment's massive. Sometimes it means you could miss out on the home you've fallen in love with. And here's another layer that people really don't understand. Calculators don't understand strategy. For example, if you're self-employed, there's lenders out there who will work off your latest year's accounts. There's also lenders out there that need 3 years worth of accounts. Calculator doesn't care, it just spits out a number. Take life insurance, for example. There's insurers out there who are much more flexible when it comes to things like diabetes, high blood pressure. But you need to know who those insurers are. Your calculator doesn't, it will never show you that. And it's exactly the same with mortgages. Whilst one lender might penalise you and charge you a slightly higher rate just because you've got high credit card balances, another lender might not care. Again, the calculator doesn't know any different. So here's the bottom line. Calculators are great toys. Yes, they can give you an example, but they don't build lives, families, or financial futures. Answers that you can actually base decisions on, then speak to a professional. Because that's what mortgage and protection advisors like myself do every day. We run the numbers properly. We check criteria. We verify with each lender, each provider, that you're the right fit for them. And we give you a plan that you can actually rely on. So if you want to stop playing with fancy calculators and start working with reality, then hit the link below or drop me a DM and let's get you the real numbers that actually matter.